guys, welcome back to the channel Nate's Pink Bookshelf. My name is Nate Denise for those of you who are new to the channel, and today's video is going to be my Book of the Month Book Club book haul. I have now been with Book of the Month for about 3 months, and I have purchased books from both January and March. I didn't get anything in February, and I just saw the items that they had available for April, so I'm not sure if I'm going to pick a book or not. We'll see how I can work that out. But yeah, I have quite a few books here because I've ordered twice during each month. And yeah, so for those of you who don't know what Book of the Month is, basically it is a book subscription kind of box in which you pay $14.99 for a hardcover book, and it's a brand new hardcover book with like the Book of the Month logo on it. And then you can do add-ons as well. The add-ons are an additional $9.99, so you're paying anywhere from $15 to $35 for 1 to 3 hardcover books, and they're brand new. And I think that's awesome because you're really not going to find that kind of price or deal anywhere else unless you're shopping like at thrift books or your local library. But yeah, I've gotten quite a few items from them, a good mix. Their selection has grown from when I've joined. I'm seeing that they're adding a lot more YA things there, so I'm pretty excited about that. But my only gripe is that I wish that you didn't have to pick a book from that month. The way they do it is they give you 5 books per month to pick from, and you have to pick one of those 5 books, and then you can do your 2 add-ons. I wish they had it where you can just pick any of the books on their website and not having to pick one that was from that month, because majority of the times the books that they have for the month are going to be historical fiction, memoirs, like romances, contemporaries, and things like that. Things I'm not really into, but I managed to get a good few items here. So we're gonna dive in. The first book that I'm going to show you guys is actually from Book of the Month, but I got it from my local library. You can click the eye on the screen to check out the library book haul that I did. But this was one of them, and I didn't realize it until I got all my other books from Book of the Month. But the first one is going to be The 7 Husbands of Eben and Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is an adult historical fiction kind of romance novel. I've heard a lot of people rave about it. I don't know much about it. I want to go into this pretty much blind. But yeah, this is from Book of the Month. If you guys can see the logo here for Book of the Month, and on the spine, and then on the back it tells you which year and month. So June 2017 is when they got this book. And yeah, like I said, I don't know much about it. I know that it's historical fiction, almost like a contemporary romance kind of ordeal, and it's basically an it girl telling it all. With this, there was actually a bookmark inside which says Book of the Month, which I know that they still do, but this one was actually handwritten on it. So it just says, put your gossip magazine subscriptions on hold. You won't want to read anything until you're done with this novel about a former Hollywood it girl telling it all. XX Steph. And Steph was a judge in the June 2017 picks. So they do come with bookmarks. I like that they were handwritten with little images. They don't do that anymore. But that is the first book that I have from Book of the Month. So the next books are all from January of this year. So when you get your books, they for some reason in January they came with the Book of the Year kind of postcard, which was Cersei. And then it also came with the bookmark, and this quote was from Amy Tan, and it just says, when you read about the lives of other people, you are a part of their lives for that moment. You inhabit their lives, and you feel what they're feeling, and that is compassion. So that is the quote from the bookmark. So it is a little bit different. They're not handwriting them anymore, but I think that's, you know, it's still nice that they give you a quote. But the first book I got was one of the picks, and I didn't really care for it, honestly, but I picked it up. It's more of an adult historical fiction with magical realism and romance, so that's why I decided to opt for it. But I was intrigued by the synopsis as well as the cover. The cover is stunning, and that is going to be The Night Tiger by... I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that name, if you guys can see. But the cover on this is stunning. I love everything about this cover. The colors, the outfit, the hair, just the whole entire like atmosphere that this book is giving me. Yeah, and this was a January 2019 Book of the Month pick, so I'm excited to get into this again. I don't know much about it. It is historical fiction with a bit of magical realism and romance. I'm not much of a historical fiction person. I prefer fantasy, paranormals, you know, that's my type of realm, but I figured this would be a good one. It was one of the ones that sounded really good when I saw them, so I got that one. The next book was the Book of the Year pick, and that is going to be Cersei by Madeline Miller. This is the follow-up to The Song of Achilles. I have not read that book at all, but this is historical fantasy, so it is historical fiction with fantasy aspects. I don't know much about this except that the main character is a female, so it's on a kind of like a heroine type of story, and yeah, I'm excited to read this and dive into it pretty soon. the third one I was like super stoked for, probably like the one I was like most excited to read, and that is Spinning Silver from Naomi Novik. This is a YA fantasy fairy tale retelling of Rumpelstiltskin. A lot of people prefer the UK cover. I kind of do like the American cover. I love the artwork on it. It's really pretty. This book was actually their July 2018 pick, but I got it in January. It's so pretty, and I love it without the dust jacket on it. So if I ever decided to do my bookshelf in like a rainbow order, this book would definitely have to come off. The dust jacket would have to come off. But yeah, I love the illustration so much. It's so really pretty. But Rumpelstiltskin is one of those fairy tales you don't really hear much about, and I kind of loved Rumpelstiltskin in Once Upon a Time. I think that's what it's called, the show. So I'm excited to read this. I heard so many good things about it, and I'm excited. The next two books I actually made a purchase in January through a different account. So I have only picked two books because this first book was actually a featured book. And how they do it is they have their 5 books of the month, and then they have a featured books section. Most of the time the featured books in their book of the month are the same, but you can find 1 or 2, maybe even 3 different books on that featured list. So this was actually one of the books on that featured list, and I think this was also a finalist for the 2018 Book of the Year, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm excited about this, and this is The Kiss Quotient by Helen Wong. This is the first book in the Kiss Quotient trilogy. Don't quote me on that. I know the second one is going to be The Bride Test, but this is contemporary romance. I've heard that it's really good. Many people rave about it, and I love romance. Romance is kind of like another one of my genres and realms that I prefer. So I'm excited, and I love the little artwork on here. It's so cute. But this was the June 2018 book. But again, gorgeous, and I'm excited to dive into this soon. And the last book that I picked for January is going to be The Proposal by Jasmine Guillory. This is actually book 2 in the Wedding Date trilogy that she has. The first book was Wedding Date. This is The Proposal, which is book 2. It's kind of like a companion trilogy, and it's contemporary romance. I mean, why else would I get it? I think the couple is interracial, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I'm so stoked to read this. I heard, again, good things about this, so I can't wait to give this a go. So on to my March picks. So for January I only picked 5 books, and then for March I have a total of 6, which I know sounds insane, but why not? New books. So again, you get your book of the month bookmark, and this one says stories matter, many stories matter. Stories have been used to dispose and to malign, but stories can also be used to empower and to humanize, and I think that's such a beautiful quote. And it's from this author here. I have this author's book, I just can't pronounce it, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the name, to butcher it. But that's the name. And then you also, I've noticed that they're giving out these like book of the month little welcome booklets to talk you through book of the month, and I think it's cute. It's a cute little thing to, you know, give to someone else if they're interested in book of the month. But the first book that I got was a super like a cover purchase. I'm just gonna say that it was a cover purchase. It was one of the books for March, and it's a cover purchase, and that's all I'm gonna say, and you can see why. It's called Queenie. It's by Candace Carty Williams. This is a contemporary novel, and I love the colors. The orange with the yellow with the white. She has on box braids, and she has earrings on, and she's Jamaican British, if I'm not mistaken, the main character. I don't know much about this, and I'm going to go into this blind because it sounds like it's going to be good from what I've heard from other people. So, yes, Queenie is just stunning. And again, this is another one of those books that just looks really gorgeous without the dust jacket. So I'm excited to dive into Queenie and hopefully get some laughs, a little bit of tears, but it is a contemporary fiction novel and it's adult, so I'm excited. Moving on, the next book I have is a YA, and this is called Opposite of Always by Justin A. Reynolds. This is a YA contemporary, but it also has some sci-fi aspects as the main character. I believe he does some time traveling because the girl that he likes dies or something like that. Don't quote me. I know that there's time traveling. There's a girl he likes and she dies. That's pretty much all that I know. I want to go into it blind because it sounds so freaking amazing. And the cover, just the cover art on here is stunning. And on the back as well. So like I'm excited to dive into this and just get some laughter and some tears going, because I know this is going to be sad just because the female dies. So yeah, I'm not ready for it, so I'm going to probably have to get a box of tissues to go with this. The next book is actually a sequel, and this is a sequel to The City of Brass. I do not know how to pronounce the trilogy's name. I will put the trilogy on the screen. It starts with a D. I don't want to butcher it, but this is a YA fantasy. I believe it's also historical at the same time, but it's called The Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Yep, that name right there. They did have City of Brass available at one point, but now it's sold out on the site, so I decided to just snag up Kingdom of Copper. I may still purchase City of Brass, but I do own the ebook of it. But this is gorgeous. I know that this has to do with assassins and genies and magic and just... I can't wait. I really cannot wait to dive into this. And yeah, I thought this was adult, but apparently it's YA. Let me know if I'm wrong or if I'm right, if it's adult or YA, but I've heard that it's YA. And yeah, I'm excited to dive into this world and learn so much and see some badass assassins. Okay, and then the second purchase, or the second order that I made in March, I got these 3 books. So the first one is going to be Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is an author that I own a lot of her books and haven't read. I just showed you guys the 7 Husbands of Eben and Hugo. This is another one that I heard people rave about. This was a March pick. I really didn't want to get this, but I've heard people rave about it on BookTube, so I decided to get it. It is I think this is adult historical fiction. Don't quote me, but it's adult historical fiction about a fictional band. And it's a lot of drama, and I've heard it's quite interesting, so yeah. Here's a close-up of the cover. Very much old and historical style. Just gives me, like, 70s kind of vibes. I don't know. Okay, so the last 2 books are both YA fantasy, because I love fantasy. I mean, I don't know if you guys can tell from my bookshelf behind me. From this row all the way down to maybe the 3rd row right here is all fantasy novels. I like fantasy, and then I have like my adult fantasies and stuff here. I rearranged my bookshelf, so I'm gonna do a bookshelf tour soon. But yes, fantasy, why not? So the first one is The Gilded Wolves by Roshni Chashki. Don't quote me, I think I said that name wrong, but this is YA historical fantasy. It's historical fiction because it's set in, what year was this? 1889 in Paris. It has to do with heist and magic, and yeah. Sounds like Six of Crows, I've heard, but Six of Crows is Six of Crows, so I'm definitely going to go into this without having the mindset of Six of Crows. I feel like this is going to give me a different vibe, especially since it's historical fiction and it's set in Paris, so I am stoked to read this. Only thing, I wish that this was like gold foil in here, but I still love the cover nonetheless. And the last book that I have is going to be Four Dead Queens by Astrid Schulte. I just know that it's YA fantasy, and it sounds amazing. People have compared this to Three Dark Crowns, but I haven't read that, so I'm probably going to read this first and then read that series. But yeah, it sounds interesting. It's fantasy. I love the cover. The blood, the 4 crowns. It says, 1 big lie, 2 forbidden romances, 3 days to catch a killer. Yes. So that is it for my Book of the Month book club book haul, you guys. I am debating on some April purchases because they really got some good YA fantasies up there. They have Wicked Saints, which I'm actually reading the arc of now because my book review is due tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, I need to finish reading that arc. But it's super good, and if I can get a physical copy, I definitely will. So I'm debating on getting Wicked Saints. They have a bunch of other like great fantasy novels on there, so I'm hoping I can pick them up without having to pick one of those boring books of the month because they just didn't interest me for April. But do I recommend Book of the Month? I think you should. I just wish that they would have a larger selection for the actual book picks for the month. They don't really do a lot of fantasy novels, which kind of sucks, but they do have a lot of fantasy books. So it's kind of terrible when you really want to do add-ons instead of purchasing a book itself. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they work on that down the line, but I do recommend it. I mean, $15 for a brand new hardcover, you can't go wrong with that. You're gonna pay more than $15. I mean, this book here for Queenie was $26 US. So $26 versus $15. Free shipping, no tax. I mean, I highly recommend it. Four Dead Queens was $17.99. So sometimes you're saving anywhere from $1 to maybe $20 depending on the type of book you have. Let's see. For Kingdom of Copper, this book was $26.99. Okay, and then this one here. What? Oh, it doesn't have the price in here. That's interesting. This one doesn't have the price in here, like, at all, but that's okay. But, do I recommend Book of the Month book club? yes, they're definitely getting better with their selection, so I definitely would say give it a try. Even if you don't like their like 5 picks for the month, give a new genre a try. It's great to just try a new genre and then get 2 additional books that you really, really want to read. So that way you're not really losing out on anything per se. But yeah, I totally enjoy Book of the Month. I'm most likely going to stay with them. We'll see if I make an April purchase. You will see an April Book of the Month unboxing. But other than that, that is it for this video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.